Hi, it's Miss Mary with April's Cozy Storytime, and today we are going to be reading Bored. Yep, Bored by Felicita Sala. Look at that. Have you ever been so bored you just flopped on top of the laundry like that? I have. If I told my grandmother I was bored, she was like, well, there's no reason for that. And then she'd usually make me do chores. So I stopped saying it. All right, Bored by Felicita Sala, published by Neil Porter Books, Holiday House, New York. Dedicated to Agnes, who is rarely bored and never boring. Look at that. Wonder what that's about. Oh, Rita was bored. She was so bored she couldn't read or draw or think. Her toes were boring. Her room was boring. Even the view from her window was boring. She was so bored she wasn't even hungry anymore, which was the first thing she usually was when she was bored. She was so bored she did 7 loud yawns. Making sure everyone in the house heard her. She was so bored, she started jumping quickly in front of the mirror to see if she could surprise herself. She couldn't. She was so bored, she started swinging her arms around like fans. Then she added stomping with her feet, and then she added popping sounds with her mouth. Then her brother walked past her room and said, "Geez, you're weird, Rita." She was so bored, she stretched her body as far as it could go to see if it would reach from the tip of her bed to the top of the door. It wouldn't. She was so bored. She repeated the word bored 100 times until it didn't sound like a word anymore. Bored, 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 bored. And then she got tired and bored of that too. I'm bored, Rita sang. Really, 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 really bored. She stretched the word bored with the deepest voice she could find until her breath ran out. Bored. She was so out of breath that she had to stop and lie completely still. Her brain felt like a fuzzy rock. After a while, she started to wonder how many other bored people there were out there in the world. She imagined that she and all the other bored people were invited onto a bus that would take them to a special place, a non-boring place, just for bored people. But on the bus, everyone was so bored. So the bus driver made them sing a song, the one about the wheels going round and round. Except instead of singing it, everyone yawned because they were so bored. And then everyone was yawning so loudly that they started to swell like balloons full of that gassy, boring boredom. And suddenly everyone was floating up to the sky, including the bus driver. And as they were floating along, they spotted something shimmering down below, which sparked just enough interest for some of the boring boredom, the boring boredom, to seep out. One by one, they gently wafted down towards their destination. But as all the commotion settled, they realized they were still, well, bored. A housewife from Florence was so bored that she began to play with driftwood. Three grannies from Sydney were so bored that they started a band. A high school student from Mumbai was so bored that her yawn turned into a yodel. So she accidentally figured out how to communicate with whales. Yodel, yodel, yodel. That's a yodel, kind of. 3 representatives from the Japanese embassy were so bored that they started to dig a hole. Down and down and down it went. A pair of twins from Brazil were so bored that they just sat there staring at their watches. They stared so hard that they actually warped space and time. Space and time. One professor from Cairo was so bored that he started playing I Spy and accidentally discovered 3 new galaxies. Similar things happened to Bob, the mechanic from Ohio, to Britta, the Swedish accountant, to a baby named Hugo, and to Jonas, Loretta, Piotr, and Lee. And Rita? Well, Rita was so bored. Rita! Come down to dinner. Wait, Mom, I can't. Why not? Because I'm really busy. What is she busy doing? Is she still busy imagining all the boring people on the island for not being bored anymore and all the things that they were so bored that they decided to do, like discover galaxies? I think so. Wow. There's an awful lot going on in Rita's imagination. And I think that's pretty cool. And you guys, that's the end of the story. We're out of pages. We're at the end. We just read Bored by Felicita Sala. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you weren't bored. I have a lot to think about. All right. That's it for this cozy story time. I'll see you next month. Take care. Bye.